In this video, let's understand about the virtual mode in Palo Alto Firewall. This is one of the special feature that's available in Palo Alto Firewall. It's available in many firewalls as well, other vendors as well. Okay, but this is one of the special feature we used in a specific requirement. All right. So in general, the virtual wire is also referred as V-wire. Okay, and the other words is referred as bump in the wire or transparent inline or the transparent firewall. Okay, it what does it do is it logically binds two different interfaces of a firewall together and allow the traffic to pass through it. Okay, say for example, if the source is connected, the source machine is connected to the ETH1/2, and if the destination is, means when I say destination, the destination end, okay, it is connected to ETH1/2. Okay, by using vwire we can logically club, okay, we can logically club this ETH1/1 and ETH1/2 of the Palo Alto firewall together. All right, so due to this a firewall can be placed to an existing network topology without making any changes, because if you deploy in other modes, right, as like even if it's an L2 or an L3, you need to make some topology changes. If you're making in an L3, then you need to have an IP address configured in it, you need to do some routing sort of a things, then you need to modify your network topology accordingly, right? And also, even if you're doing in an L2 deployment, you need to do few changes according to it. However, if you're deploying, if you're using the virtual wire mode, you don't need to do any changes to it. All right, you can just simply, you can directly place it to the existing working topology, the network topology, without making any changes to it or without disturbing to the existing topology. Okay, so even though you are placing this firewall in the existing topology without making any changes, it can do both. It can perform even monitoring, and as well as it can control the traffic passing through it. It can make the decision either to allow or deny it. All right, so it also supports application identification, user identification, content identification, NAT, decryption, and so on. Okay, so that's fine. Let's get into our lab, and we'll understand more about virtualware. All right, let's get into our lab. So before starting to configure a virtual wire, means again, let's understand with the topology. Okay, most of you people might be aware about it, but for a one who is starting, means who is not aware. Okay, I'm just repeating once again. Say for example, to understand simply, just ignore about this inside zone or outside zone. Okay, this is two different devices. Okay, maybe consider this is source and destination. How it is connected? It is connected through one wire, right? One medium or one cable, right? One wire, I would say. So what happens? Just consider a situation to understand about a virtual wire. Just consider a situation that you are just breaking the wire here. Okay, you're just breaking the wire here. You are connecting this part. Means if you are breaking the wire here, there will be two parts, right? There will be one connectivity from this side and the other connectivity, other wire from this side. Okay, you are connecting this end wire to one interface, maybe consider just 1/1, and you are connecting the other side of a wire to the 1/2. Okay, so you are connecting, though you are connecting to two different interfaces. With the virtual wire configuration, you can club, logically you can club both interfaces, ETH1/1 and ETH1/2, as a single interface, and this traffic will be like this again. Though it is going through firewall, it passes through two different interfaces. It doesn't look like it. Okay, it is like a virtual wire. That's the reason it is known as a virtual wire. It means though it is going through two different interfaces, it is logically clipped together. It's added together, so that it's referred as a virtual wire. All right, so that's the reason I just draw this line. Maybe I'll just delete it. So we'll place our firewall in between, but again there may be a different type of zones. Okay, you don't need to um, confuse with that. 1/2. All right. So if you see now, I have connected ETH 1/1 to the this side, means my inside zone, and ETH 1/2 with my outside zone or server zone, whatever it is. All right. So basically, we have two different zones, and as I said earlier there was one single connection or one wire. I just cut that wire and connected one half, means the wire from this machine to ETH 1/1, and I have connected the other part of a wire from the that's coming from the server to the ETH 1/2. Okay, once we configure a virtual wire here, what it will do, it will logically bind, it will logically club this interface with this interface, and it will act as a single wire. All right, so that's what we are going to do. So as you know, this is a Windows machine, and this side we have a server, means we are running a web server as well as the FTP server this side. So once we configure a virtual wire here, let's go back to our client and we'll establish a connectivity, means we'll try to ping, we'll try to access the web server, and we'll try to access the FTP, and those will be getting logged. All right, fine. So let me go to my Palo Alto. So in order to deploy this, what are the steps involved? Point number one, you need to create two different zones. One is inside zone, the other one is outside zone. And when you create zone, we need to create the zones in the VirtualWire mode. All right. Then we need to add this zone to the interfaces. Then we need to create the security policy to allow the transaction from inside zone to outside zone, as well as the reverse from outside zone to inside zone. Okay, fine. Means the reason why we were initiating, inside to outside and outside to inside, means basically if you put only to inside to outside, so when there is a request going and when it response is coming, it will be allowed bidirectionally. But when a request is initiated from the other end, it will not allow, right? So that's the reason I'm telling about two different policy, or you can make any to allow. All right. All right. So let me go here. So as I said, the first point is to create zone. So two different zones, one is inside, right? So I'll just put it as inside zone, and I'll in the zone type, I'll make it as virtual wire, right? Virtual wire, enable it. That's it. So we have created a simple zone, and I'll create another zone. It is outside zone, and the type is again virtual wire. Okay, fine. So now we have two different zones, both are in the virtual wire type. Then if you see here, you'll be seeing an option, virtual wire. Next to VLAN, you'll be seeing the option virtual wire. Now we need to create one virtual wire. Okay. And you can give any name, virtual wire. All right. So this is the name of the virtual wire you're giving. So either you can add your interface here itself, or you can go and add the other side, means the interface configuration. All right. I just added the virtual wire here. So once it's done, I'm just going back to my interface. Means first I have created the zone I have created in the virtual wire mode. Then I'm going to virtual wire. I have created a virtual wire. Okay, now I need to go to my interfaces in this third step. If you see, this interface 1/1 is connected to inside zone, 1/2 is connected to the other side, right? So I'll open this, and interface type is here virtual wire, right? Fine. And what's the name of the virtual wire that we have created? It is this one. This is the virtual wire we have created, right? The virtual wire profile, I would say. So security zone, this interface is part of inside zone, right? Click OK. All right. Now I'm going to the other interface. Click here. And this is part of, again, virtual wire. And the name of virtual wire is, this is the one which we have created for it, the profile. And the zone is outside zone. All right. Even if you go to advanced, nothing more. Okay. So even in virtual wire mode, you don't need to give any IP informations as like the tap mode. But in the tap mode, you can only monitor. But in a virtual mode, you can monitor as well as you can decide the traffic, either to allow it or deny. Okay. I'll just click OK. Fine. And now what I'm going to do, I need to go back here in the policy. Under policy, I need to create a security policy to allow the traffic from inside zone to the outside zone. All right. So I'm coming here by clicking here the add button. You can name any. I just put security policy. All right. So here in the source, as I said, you need to create two. Means basically in the inline, right? You need to create two so that you can initiate traffic on both the sides. So for that, instead, what I'll do, I'll make it as like any. Okay, the source can be any, and destination can also be any zone. All right. So when it comes to application action, hello. All right. Okay, commit the changes. If you want to make any application specific, that is also possible. If you want to allow only ping, or if you want to access only web traffic and you don't want to allow the FTP, you can do that as well by controlling the traffic. Okay, now we have committed the changes. So once it's committed, if you go back here and if we initiate any traffic from here, right? If you initiate either a ping, or if you try to access the web server or an FTP server, it should work. Let's wait for a few seconds. It's taking more time. %99. It's almost done. Let's wait for a few more seconds. All right. So it's successfully committed. Now, if we go back here, okay, let's go back to the terminal. We'll access from this device, right? So this one. So before that, I'll make sure that I'll go to my this device, the server device, and we'll make sure that the servers are running. Okay, the Apache server and FTP server. Okay, it's running, and as you know, it is having the IP address ipconfig 10.10.10.15. All right. So, and at the same time, my Apache server and FTP server is running. So I'll go to this machine, the source machine. First, let me check the ping, the network connectivity ping. So this is IP config. It is 10.10.10.11. All right. So now I'll initiate a ping towards 10.10.10. Sorry, it's 15. See, I'm able to get an ICMP response. So the connectivity means when I try to ping, the request is going via this interface. Through this interface, it's reaching server and I'm getting response. All right. Now let me go to my source. From this source machine, I will access the web. Okay, 10.10.10.15. So we have a web server running on the other side. Okay. So see, so we're getting a response. From this source, we have initiated a HTTP request and we are getting a response to it. Okay. And also we can do FTP as earlier how we did in the other sessions. FTP, and this is the IP address, right? 10.10.10.15. So it's asking me the password. Okay, this username and password we have already created. See, it's success. I'm able to access to the the server's directory. So this is the directory that I have given the permission, right? So basically I have created three types of sessions. All right. Now I'll go back to my Palo Alto Firewall. Again, I'll go to monitor. No, if I refresh here, sorry, not here. So if I refresh here on the other side, let it come. All right. Uh, Okay, so we have few entries. Just column. Okay, so if we see, right, we have few entries that's going from inside zone to outside zone. This is the IP address, right? The IP address of the source machine, which we initiated a traffic, right? And this is the destination. Which one? This is the destination. 10 10 10 15 is the destination. And if you come here, we have FTP that is initiated and it is allowed, right? And then what? FTP means basically these are the FTP sessions and web browsing sessions, okay, using port 80. And this is the ping, okay. So we have the log for it. And also if you want, you can just click here. You can get this information. Okay, you can just check here. You can have all the detailed information from which zone to which zone, from which port number it used. So all the informations are available here. All right, I'm just closing this. And as I said, means it's not like a tap mode. In the tap mode, you can only get a log, but in the you know in this mode, in the VirtualWire mode, you can control the traffic as well. Okay, say for example, now we have three type of service, right? We initiated ping, we did web browsing, and we did FTP. So for example, if you want control the traffic by adjusting a policy, we can do that as well. But basically, this is how it works. Okay, I can just go back here in application. You can add ping and you can add web browsing. Okay. All right. So if you see, right, instead of any, this time I just made only web browsing and ping. Okay. All right. Maybe I'll just ignore ping as well. I'll just delete ping as well. I have only web browsing. Okay. I'll just click OK. I modified the security policy. I committed it. Commit the changes. All right. Click commit. So let's wait for a few seconds to, get this committed successfully. So now once it's committed, if we go back here and if we initiate again, means as last time, right? If we try to ping, last time it was pinging, right? Because we made the application any, but this time explicitly we added only web browsing. So if you try to ping from this to this, it should not happen. Also, if you try to access FTP to this, it should not happen. Okay, let's go and check whether it's done. So it's still progressing. It's almost done. Let's wait for a few more seconds as well. 99 percentage. All right. So it's confirmed now. Fine. Now we have fine tuned this, profile which allowed any traffic, right? So now we have modified in such a way that it will allow only web browsing. All right. So I'll just go back here. And if you see, right, last time it was working when we tried to access the FTP, it was working. I'll just close this window. I'll just close this window. And if you see, last time it was pinging. Let me try to ping once again. But this time we are not getting any response. We are getting a request timeout. The reason being that is when the ping request is going on this interface, we have a security policy defined here to allow only the web browsing, not the other application. So as the ping is not a web application, it's getting blocked here. See, all the four request timeout. Basically, it's not connected. We are not getting any ICMP response because it's not sent to the server itself. All right, as same, but at the same time, if you just go and even if you can close this window and if you can try in a private window, okay, if you can give 10 10 10 15, the web browser means the web server service should be working, because we have added a web browsing service application, right? So it's working. And at the same time, if you go back here and try to access the FTP, as last time, FTP, it will not happen. But last time, once we give, right, it was accessed. Windows cannot access this folder. See, it's not happening. It should not access, because this time explicitly we have a security policy to allow only the web traffic, the web browsing. So that's the reason when we try to connect to the web server with the IP address on the browser, we are getting a response from the web server on the other side, means from this one. But apart from the web browsing, nothing works, right? You can now just go back to monitor. Under monitor, you can just go to, if you don't have a license, you can check in session browser, and you can refresh and check. Or if you have a license, you can check in traffic. Just refresh to see if there is any new logs. All right, you can just go here. So it's all allowed logs, right? We don't get, it's not yet updated. All right, but this is how it works. So we have seen it, right? It was not allowing. Means basically when we try to access the web browser, means from the browser it's working. At the same time, when we try to connect to the ping or the FTP, it was not happening, right? So that's how it is working, right? Fine.